Good evening, Tallahassee. We're going to take a look at your weather on a very chilly evening in Tallahassee. As your live look at Doak Campbell Stadium, it is cloudy. You don't see very much in the way of sun. Our camera just updated, and you might see a little bit of the sun trying to peek out here, but other than that, it's kept the temperatures pretty cool today. 52 degrees right now under cloudy skies, and your winds are out of the west-northwest. We're going to have a reinforcing shot of cold air coming in tonight, and if the clouds can clear out, it might get pretty chilly tonight. But a look at your current temperatures around the area, you can easily see where your cold spot is in Thomasville at 46 degrees. You've got warmer temperatures along the coast in Crawfordville and St. Mark's in the upper 50s, but it's still relatively chilly area-wide. 52 right now here in Tallahassee. And if you look at your radar, you may see some showers over the Gulf of Mexico. We don't have anything over land, and it is going to stay dry if you're out and about in Tallahassee this evening. But our headlines for tonight, we're going to see near freezing in Tallahassee, a historic lake effect snowstorm with feet of snow, and we're going to talk about your Thanksgiving travel forecast. And great show. We're going to have a great show tonight.
Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Caitlin McKinney.
And I'm meteorologist Shane Wilder. We have a great show in store for us.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the lake effect snow because we've got some pretty strange and crazy numbers to talk about.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the more historical snowstorms we've seen in the area. I'm actually teaching class and was talking about it, and it's way over the forecast, so it's really interesting.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear what we have to say about that. But just like here in Tallahassee, it's been really cold. And I know we're going to have a cold weekend up ahead.
Yeah, speaking of cold tonight, 34 degrees, maybe some freezing frost, maybe able to build a little snowman. It's going to be exciting.
That's going to be fun. I think the little kids are going to love coming out and waking up to some frost, especially as the holiday season's coming around. We're all getting ready for Christmas, and Thanksgiving's right around the corner next week.
Yep, I call that Florida snow because it never snows. Well, it does snow here sometimes, but not in a very long time.
Right. Are we going to have to worry about ISO in our windshields in the morning?
Absolutely. You better get the FSU card out and start scraping
exactly.
it.
That's going to be so much fun. Well, I'm excited about this upcoming weather. I don't really love the cold, but I think the cold reminds me of the holidays, and I love hot chocolate and sweater weather, so I'm really excited about all that.
Absolutely, yeah. I love the little marshmallows in there. I'm not going to make hot chocolate, but...
You're not making hot chocolate?
I'm not tonight. I will, though. I put my Christmas lights up, though, so I got that going.
Yeah, you got to go in. You got to get it starting. That's really nice. Do you drink hot coffee, maybe?
I do.
Okay,
so there we go.
That's good. That's good. Maybe hot coffee tomorrow morning instead of hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Are you a Thanksgiving is Christmas after Thanksgiving kind of guy?
I'm Christmas before Thanksgiving.
Okay, good.
Yep.
That's why the Christmas lights are up. Well, that was really fun. But we're going to pass things off to Nico. He's going to talk more about the local weather happening in Tallahassee.
Thank you, Caitlin and Hayden. As we continue to look at Doak Campbell Stadium as the sun sets, it's getting really dark outside now. You're getting dark early in the evening now. It's still 52 degrees. It's cloudy, and your winds are a chilly direction out of the west-northwest. But if you look at your temperature almanac, we are 15 degrees below average. Our average high for today is 72, and our high today was 57, which is just closer to our average low than it is to our average high. But our average low is 47. Our low is only 46, and that's because the clouds kept the temperatures warmer overnight, which could change tonight, which is why we might see 30s. We aren't going to get anywhere close to the record low of 24, though. So if you don't like the cold, at least it's not going to be that cold. Our coldest temperature right now is 46 up in Thomasville. You can see the blue spot on the map. If you're in that area, it's going to feel much chillier than the rest of the area. Our warm spots right now, 58 degrees in St. Mark's, 58 degrees in Perry, because you're closer to the Gulf Coast. So you're going to get the warm influence of the Gulf Coast waters. Now look at your current dew points. 32-degree dew point in Tallahassee. This is very dry air. Area-wide, our highest dew point right now is 41 degrees in Perry. Our coldest dew point in Donaldsonville is 29. This is very dry air. This is why the precipitation is over the Gulf of Mexico and not over us. We do need some rain. We did get some last week, but we really need more rain because other than having Tropical Storm Nicole roll through last week, we haven't had much in the way of rain since the summer season ended in September, including areas to the west of us in a severe drought right now. And you don't want to have wildfires, so we definitely need the rain. And unfortunately, the rain here is going to stick over the Gulf of Mexico. It is not going to make it to Tallahassee. It's expected to be a dry night for us. and it's probably not going to make it to the peninsula either with this front. We're going to have to wait for the next system to come in early next week before we see any rain, unless maybe if you're on St. George Island, you might be able to get some rain there. But the rest of the area, you're going to stay dry and cloudy tonight, and maybe clearing out and getting chilly. 35s are expected low tomorrow morning in Tallahassee. But north of us, you're going to see another freeze, and it's not out of the question we could see a freeze here in Tallahassee as well if we get enough breaks in the clouds. If you're along the coast, you're probably not going to see a freeze even if it does clear out because of the warmer Gulf of Mexico. But here's where you got your freeze warning. Just north of Tallahassee, only 2 counties to the northwest of us, there's a freeze warning. So definitely watch for frost if it gets clear later this evening. It does look like it's going to stay cloudy, but then it is going to clear out around midnight. So that's definitely something to watch out for. It's going to stay chilly. It's going to be nice for the football game, but here's our high chance of rain and storms on Tuesday, warming up as we get into Thanksgiving with some potential showers. But now I'm going to pass things off to Hayden.
Thanks, Nico. Yeah, interesting forecast ahead. Maybe some shower conditions for the football game. And we'll see how the rest of the conditions are panning out for Florida as well. So speaking of football, we'll take a look at the nasty University of Florida. Gainesville, 52 degrees there. But conditions are still pretty clear over there. I'm looking over to Daytona Beach, 56 degrees. I know they're still recovering from Nicole and Ian's impact on the beach erosion. Orlando, a warmer 60 degrees. And of course, Miami, a tropical 76 with some beautiful hues as the sun setting later further south. Looking at our satellite radar, we have the reinforcing cold front, as Nico alluded to, moving down to the area. We have some showery conditions draped across the Gulf of Mexico, more likely to impact the Florida Big Bend than perhaps the peninsula of Florida. But we still have some high clouds streaming over Tallahassee. So just cloudy conditions, not seeing too much showers right now. I'm looking out over into the Miami region. We have some showers coming across the Gulf Stream, pushing south, but most of the peninsula is actually very dry, especially over in the west side of the state. We are especially more dry over there. As well as for the Central Florida radar, the peninsula, nothing seeing too much on there, just a bunch of clear skies. Not seeing any high cloud cover as we saw over the Panhandle region. And then, of course, streaming across, going across I-10, we have some of those more high clouds that are obscuring that sunset and leaving those cool, cloudy conditions with maybe some showers coming across into our Florida Big Bend area. But overall, not seeing anything too much. Current conditions, 51 degrees in Pensacola. Cool conditions will bring a jacket. Jacksonville, 49. Maybe feel like some cool winds off the Atlantic. And even Tampa, 61. It's still pretty cold over there. And then shifting over, looking to the southeast. Look at that, 74 Key West, 76 in Miami. Makes you want to take some nice cold beverages. Current dew points, 32 degrees in Tallahassee. Very dry, 31 Pensacola. You can see that sharp gradient across the state with the I-4 corridor, maybe just a little bit south, demarcating where we have our moist conditions with 65 in Miami and 61 in West Palm Beach. So a sharp cold front across the state of Florida. Future radar, most of the Friday, Saturday actually stays clear. Maybe some high clouds coming in on Saturday evening into the Tallahassee region. And of course, look at this big slob of moisture coming across into the northern Gulf Coast. And that'll be our next weather player for Sunday. But for the weekend, actually looks pretty good in Tallahassee. Some warmer conditions in Florida. Look at Miami, staying pretty tropical, staying in the upper 70s to low 80s. Tampa, a little bit cooler, but warming up nicely. Saturday, 73, with maybe some showers coming in 64 with that Moffa run that I know my family participates in. And of course, Orlando, same pattern. Warming up to 73 on Saturday before cooling off once again. And then Jacksonville staying really cold. Look at 57 degrees and cloudy Sunday. And of course, Pensacola staying chilly in the 50s as well. And now we're going to bring it over to Caitlin for her forecast.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the southeast, which is just looking really chilly compared to what we see in South Florida right now. Temperatures looking about to be in the 30s tonight. But we've got some nice cameras over most of the southeast. Sun does set at 5:45 now, which is just really bummer. So it's all looking like dark skies over the cities right now in the southeast. But we do have a dry cold front moving through the area, not bringing much moisture, but that's going to keep those cold temperatures coming into our area. So it's just going to keep bringing that cold air advection. We're going to keep getting cool temperatures, and that's why we're going to see temperatures dropping into the 30s tonight in the southeast. Here's that dry front. Like I said, we've got dry conditions coming down into the Tallahassee area over the next couple of days. This is going to keep us in a drought, so something we're going to be monitoring as we continue to go next couple of days, waiting for some more moisture to come into our area. Current conditions right now, we're sitting at 52 in Tallahassee, upper 40s 39 in Nashville, and then lower 50s through much of the southeast except for Miami. South Florida always looking a little bit warmer than us. They're sitting at like a nice sunny 75 right now. That's just wonderful. But as we continue to monitor these cold front conditions, we need to be more weather aware, as we know that winter is coming, and so we got to make sure we're bundling up here in the southeast. 32 degrees or 32-degree dew points. So that's what I'm saying. We've got dry conditions for the southeast right now, which is abnormal for this time of year. We usually have a little bit more moisture. We actually have a little bit more higher temperatures too. Much of the southeast is sitting about 15 to 20 degrees lower than average. Those low dew points are making us in a drought. Like I said, we were in a pretty moderate to severe risk. Severe here in Tallahassee, moderate to severe, and even extreme in parts of the other southeast here. Covering most of the area, so that's something we're going to be monitoring as we go over the next couple of days. Radar not showing much relief from that drought. We've got a little bit of rain happening on the coast, the Gulf Coast near Texas. They're going to get about an inch of rain. It's nothing we have to worry about here, but it's going to bring a little bit of cloud cover for us on Saturday. Rainfall, like I said, we got about an inch of rain coming for the Gulf Coast and Texas. Nothing really going to affect us here in Tallahassee or much of the other parts of the southeast, so we're going to continue to stay really dry. Active alerts, though, like we said on the desk, we are going to have a couple freeze warnings. You're going to see frost probably on the grass in the morning because we're going to be in temperatures much of the southeast lower than 32 degrees. So we're going to have a couple freeze warnings, and that's going to be in effect until tomorrow at 9 a.m. So that's something to think about as you make your Friday morning commutes. Tonight's forecast, like we said, we're going to be sitting in the mid-20s for much of the southeast, a little bit of upper 20s in some areas, but really we're all going to be kind of feeling those below freezing temperatures tonight. And this is what's going to happen at 6 a.m. So if you've got an early commute in the morning, it will be chilly, so remember to bundle up. Forecast tomorrow is going to be similar to it is today. 61 in Tallahassee, mid-50s for much of the southeast. Some of the areas not even hitting 50, which is just really awful. But that's all I have for the southeast. I'm going to pass things off to Hayden. He's going to talk about lake effect snow, right, Hayden?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the lake effect snow, that monster is cranking, as they call it. The Buffalo is seeing some crazy amounts of snow. Just as of right now, this is not what's going to happen. This is the past accumulations. Now, we had 16 inches being reported in the city of Edgewood as of 6:55 a.m. Eastern time. So, of course, that's going to be bumped up. And also in South Wales, 10 inches of snowfall. So all this snowfall is occurring around the Lake Erie shores. We're seeing lots of snowfall, and this is going to continue on. So right now we have a lake effect snow warning until Thursday 10 p.m. That's going to be extended. And of course we have a winter weather advisory going on through Sunday 7 a.m. across the upper state of New York. So of course we have Lake Erie over here, and then as well we have Lake Ontario going on. So we have two different lake effects bands occurring over the region. So for the active alerts, we have a winter storm warning over the peninsula of Michigan, of course, so winter weather warning, winter storm warning, so make sure your cars are prepped for that. And of course, we also have a winter weather advisory for locations that are not located in the pink. So bottom line, winter lake weather has invaded. We have some polar air that's settled over the Great Lakes, and hazardous conditions will be occurring for traveling, and as well, if anyone's sensitive, the elderly and the young, to cold conditions, make sure to check on your neighbors, because that will be important for them. On the satellite and radar, we're seeing heavy snowfall across the state of Michigan. Some really heavy bands across from Chicago over maybe Kalamazoo. We're also seeing snowfall across Lake Superior, Lake Erie as well, seeing some lighter accumulations. And of course, we're seeing that very heavy band occurring across Lake Ontario to central upstate New York. So snowfall is prevalent across the entire area. Let's take a zoom in. Interstate 96, maybe seeing some thunder snow there. So we have a very active pattern across I-96. Very active. Make sure you don't travel in these conditions. It's very dangerous. And of course, across Buffalo and Lake Erie, some also heavy snowfall occurring as well, all across the state. And then even more so, Richland. Between Richland and Syracuse, there's a big, strong snow swell coming across. So you don't want to travel there. It could be quite extreme. As well as looking at the future radar, we see this big band. This is what's prompting that possible severe snowstorm. Between Erie and Buffalo, some intense snowfall is occurring. And that band kind of just persists across most of the time. Also in between Buffalo, and we get another reinforcing shot Saturday night into Sunday. So definitely some interesting times and conditions ahead for that. I'm looking at snowfall forecast. Buffalo around 16 inches of rain, 16 inches of snowfall accumulation. Lake Erie 11, and of course that bullseye we're talking about anywhere from 50 to possibly 60 inches of snow. So definitely see some heavy rain, snowfall potential, and that's where we're seeing 66 over there. So now we're going to bring it over out to the wall and see. Talk about what's going on there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hayden. I don't know too much about lake effect snow, but I think that's what we're going to talk about here on the desk, right? You know
Yeah.
much about lake effect snow?
I don't know too much about it because we live in Florida. We're not going to have that here, but I do know that it forms when the lake is warm and we have the warm air rising out of the lake. And when the warm air rises out of the lake, it can cause some strong snowfalls.
Well, that's really interesting. I've heard of the word fetch. I don't know if you know what that word means either, but there's like fetch that goes involved. I just know that we have warm lake water mixing with lots of cold air, and that makes lots of snow. And I think what they said, 66 inches of snow, that's insane.
That's 5.5 feet of
Oh
snow.
my gosh.
That's going to be taller than some people that are going to be walking around in New York.
That's just what I'm 3 inches taller than that. That's insane. Wow,
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm only 5 inches taller than that, so only the top of my head would be out.
Oh yeah, that does not sound like a fun time for me at all.
Yeah,
But are you a snow kind of person?
I do like the snow.
Yeah.
We don't get it very much in Florida. I like seeing it when I do get the chance. But you look at your upper level temperatures, this is where you're getting a really strong cold air mass in the upper levels that's going to go over to warm lakes. This is going to cause very, very strong snows. You may even have some thunder snow, so Jim Cantori should be excited about that for sure.
I don't know what thunder snow is. Is it just like a thunderstorm that's snowing?
Yeah, it's when we get some lightning. We get lightning when we're having snow sometimes, and we call it thunder snow. And the cold air is moving over to warm lakes. Like you're looking at the temperature of the lake right now, and they're pretty mild for this time of the year. And there's where you're looking at your band of snow. Just south of Buffalo, if that shifts north at all, a big city is going to get a ton of snow. They already canceled, or not canceled, but they moved a football game out of Buffalo to Detroit today.
Oh, that's really smart of them, because I mean, 5 inches of snow, you can't really play football in that kind of weather. Even if you have a closed stadium, how are people going to get there?
Yeah, even as fun as it would be to watch, because I would have probably looked at that for fun. No one's going to be able to get to that game if they kept it in Buffalo. So moving it to Detroit was definitely smart on
Yeah.
their end to prevent accidents.
I agree. And I think, like, I don't know, it's not safe to be playing in conditions that cold? Like for the football players themselves?
They're going to need a lot of warmth to be able to do that. Luckily, they're wearing their football uniforms, so that should definitely help.
Yeah, I think so. But I think Hayden's actually going to talk a little bit more about what is happening in the whole United States, because I think we're experiencing temperatures 15 to 20 degrees colder than average, right, Hayden?
Absolutely. Thanks, Caitlin. Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it right in the head. So, Guyman, right now, this is a map looking at the high temperature anomalies, not the actual temperatures, departure from average. So our cold spot Guyman is minus 15 from average, and that's for tomorrow's forecast. We're also seeing other cool conditions. We are seeing a prevalence of negative 20 to minus 15 across the entire Great Plains as that cold continental air is different filtering down to the area. And even Tallahassee around minus 7, Louisville minus 15, Chicago minus 16. So we're seeing very cold air, with the one spot exception being the southwest being dominated by a ridge. Oftentimes, one half of the nation will be warmer and the other half will be colder. So tomorrow's forecast, let's take a look at that cold air. Minneapolis, 18 degrees. That is frigid air. You want to bring that chapstick because it's going to be very dry. Kansas City, 28 degrees. So that polar air, the Arctic air is filtering down to the region. Memphis, 44 in Tennessee. So that's pretty cold for the deep south. San Antonio, 54 and cloudy. And of course, Los Angeles and San Francisco, beautiful, 60 and 62 degrees. And our warm spot being South Florida around Miami, 81. They're not participating in winter, as a lot of the internet memes like to make allusions to. Saturday, minus 7 in San Antonio, minus 14 in Dallas for the high temperature anomalies from the average. So we're seeing this Arctic air mass settling in. Tallahassee still around minus 5 of temperature anomalies. So we're about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than normal for the continent of the United States, at least in the eastern part. Saturday's forecast, seeing cool, cloudy conditions across the I-10 corridor, 52 New Orleans, 60 Tallahassee. And you can really see that Arctic air funneling in behind that trough. Minneapolis, 18. You can see pink up there. It's seeing temperatures below zero in Canada, helping lead to that lake effect snow because we have all that cold air over the warm water, creating this lift and instability in the atmosphere. 54 in Atlanta, and then even the Northeast, very cold. And of course, Los Angeles is 72 degrees. Like, that's the spot where you want to be. Looking at high temperature anomaly Saturday, even colder across the east. The Great Lakes seeing the greatest temperature anomalies, and as well as Texas. And we're seeing very cold temperatures with the west starting to warm up as well as that trough kind of stays in place with the pattern. Sunday's temperatures, pretty cold out for my buddy out in Idaho still, around 35 degrees for them. And of course the southeast starting to warm up a little bit, but we're still hanging in the low to mid 50s, and the northeast is also bitterly cold with high temperatures in the 20s. And the weather pattern forecast is why we're seeing all these low heights building up in Chicago. We have a trough digging to the region, and that ridge trying to build over the Gulf Coast, but it's still starting to flatten out. And of course, that 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, we're seeing cold temperatures in the northeast and maybe a little bit warmer from Florida. And we're starting to turn the corner. Now we're going to hand over to Caitlin for her forecast.
Yeah, so I'm going to get to talk about us traveling for Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is 1 week away, which is super exciting. I know everyone's excited from campus to go back and see their families. Some of them haven't seen them since August. So a lot of busy traveling happening because we're all wanting to get together. But for right now, today, and hopefully in the future, right now we're not seeing any delays in Tallahassee and looking at airports as well across the country. We are just worried about that snow happening in the northeast, but nothing really too crazy across the board and anything else. For our future radar, so this is Monday, so I don't know if you're traveling on Monday, but we've got pretty calm conditions. There's a little bit of weather happening in Texas, which we talked about in the southeast. That's bringing a little bit of moisture into the area, helping with that drought. And there's a little bit of snow happening in the northeast, so that's something to think about as well. But most of the country is looking pretty dry if you're traveling on Monday. Temperatures, though, feeling like fall. We're going to be in the 50s, probably most throughout the country. A little bit of a cold snap down in the Pacific West. So I don't know if you're traveling up there for the holidays, but they're going to be a little bit colder than the rest of the country. If you're traveling Tuesday, which I get to travel Tuesday, similar story. We do have a little bit more snow happening in Seattle. So if you're going into Seattle, you're going to have a little bit more snow, but most of the country is looking fairly dry for the traveling day as well. Temperatures on Tuesday, really similar to Monday. We're getting that fall-like temperatures. We're going to be a little bit warmer here in the southeast. Cold snap still continues in the northwest, but here in the southeast, I don't know if you're coming down here, but you'll feel some nice 67-degree temperatures. That's going to be nice for maybe football weather. I know we're going to be experiencing a little bit of showers maybe on actual Thanksgiving Day, but if you want to get outside, play some football, watch some football. I know that people do that for Thanksgiving. Those would be good times. Wednesday, biggest travel day of the year. We've got some snow over the Rockies and then a little bit of rain in the southeast. Nothing that should cancel or mess up your travel plans, but maybe something to think about as you're planning for Thanksgiving itself. Temperatures on the rise as we go into Wednesday for most of the country. We're sitting, once again, it's going to be sunny, 75 in the southeast, mid-60s. Still kind of chilly up in the northwest when we're sitting at 44 in Salt Lake City, 53 in Seattle. Those are going to be some colder temperatures. But here in Tallahassee, our expected forecast, which is a week out, it's going to be 70 degrees. A little bit of showers in the morning, so that maybe change your plans. We're going to have calm weather. But I do say we can watch football still in the rain, or when it's raining, we can still stay inside, watch football, eat lots of turkey. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving because it's going to be beautiful here in Tallahassee with just temperatures in the 70s. But we're going to pass it off to Nico, who's going to talk a little bit about what we can do this weekend as it's coming up when it's the cold.
Thank you, Caitlin. Yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff to do this weekend around here. And right now, some stuff to do. St. George Island, you might want to be on the beach in the dark. That sounds actually kind of nice, though. Sportsplex, if you're playing some IM sports tonight, it's a clear, or it's not clear, but it's a dry night. And if you're out at the FSU reservation, it's dry there. Panama City is also dry, but it is chilly. But if you're up in Green Bay for Thursday night football, the Titans at the Packers, 24 degrees at 10 p.m. This is what happens when you take teams from the south and you put them up to play in the north. Those northern teams are going to get an advantage for this because they're not used to playing in these kinds of temperatures. But that's always going to be fun to watch. But if you're going out tonight in College Town, it's going to get down to the 40s. As you see what happens at 2 a.m. though, our temperatures start cooling off a little bit quicker when the clouds clear out between midnight and 2 a.m. because we aren't going to have radiation keeping the heat in as we are earlier. And that's going to also lead us to have a warmer day tomorrow, even though the setup meteorologically is similar, because tomorrow we're going to see the sun instead of the clouds. It's going to get up into about 61 degrees tomorrow, which is about 4 degrees warmer than today. Your wind is still going to be out of the northwest, though. Not really a great day to be out on the lake. It's a little bit chilly for that. If you're going to the soccer game, though, in Tallahassee, we're playing LSU. This looks like nice weather to go to the soccer game. And I know we're defending national champions in soccer, so that'll be nice to watch. If you're walking to the UNC volleyball game, it's going to be in the 40s after, so you might want to bring a jacket. It's probably going to be in the 70s in the stadium, so you'll be fine in there. If you're watching us take on our rival, UF, in basketball on Friday, hopefully we can pull out our first win against them this year. That would be a great win to have right now. But if you're going to be walking back from that, 38 degrees by midnight, that's going to feel chilly too. Now here's where we get our nice weather. This is nice football weather. It's not going to make us sweat in the stands. We're playing Louisiana on Saturday with a noon kickoff, 55 at the beginning, and when we're walking back from the stadium, 58. But as you look at your weekend forecast, it's going to warm up until Sunday. It's going to be a little chillier, but it is also going to be rainy. But now I'm going to pass things off to Caitlin for a last look at your local.
Thank you so much, Nico. Yeah. We're going to take a look at Tallahassee one more time. Doe Campbell Stadium, dark because the sun does set so early now that we are in daylight savings. Or are we in standard or daylight savings? Daylight savings. So we are in daylight savings, but it's dark over Doe Campbell Stadium right now. Current temperatures, 52 degrees in Tallahassee. We're sitting in the mid-50s. Like, look at that, 46 in Thomasville. Kind of a cold start to our morning, but that's good. Temperatures are going to continue to drop. We're going to even see colder temperatures when we wake up in the morning. We are in a drought, so dew points are really, really low right now, sitting 32 in Tallahassee. This just means we're dry. I think we can all feel that as we step outside and enjoy our chilly night tonight. Radar, like we said, we are in a dry condition, so our radar is going to be looking really dry. There's a couple of things going on, but nothing that's actually going to cause rain. You don't have to worry about your rain gear tonight, but do remember jackets and layering tonight if you are going out. Active alerts, a couple counties ahead of us. We've got some freeze warnings going into effect until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Something to think about. And if you have plans tonight in Tallahassee, like we've been talking about, it's going to be cold, 34 degrees, partly cloudy. It's going to be a north-northwest wind, 6 miles per hour, which is going to feel colder as it's blowing on you, and it's going to be dry air. So it's just going to make sure you bring your chapstick, make sure you bring your jackets, all important things. Our week ahead, look at those temperatures, 30s for the next 2 nights. Something to think about. We're going to be in the high 60s over the next couple of days. And we're going to be warming up, hopefully, by Thanksgiving, back into the 70s, back in those Florida-like temperatures. But we're going to pass things off to Hayden and Nico. They're going to close out our desk.
Thank you, Caitlin. Yeah, we're going to have some chilly weather the next few days, but we are looking to warm up in time for Turkey Day next Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be around 70, around 65 in Tallahassee area. And then I'm from southern Florida, so it's going to be around like 80 probably.
Yeah, I'm from St. Augustine. It's going to be in the mid-70s there, as the peninsular part of Florida is going to stay warm. So a lot of our students are going to be traveling to places where it could be close to 80 by Thanksgiving.
Yeah, on the same token, though, there's a lot of cold air in the northern parts of the nation. So if you're leaving school done, you got all your assignments done, and you're leaving up past I-10, watch out.
Yeah, if you're heading to the north, if you're not able to go to class next Monday and Tuesday, you're going to experience bitter cold if you're heading north tomorrow or Saturday into this weekend.
And I know it's Turkey Day, but whenever I think of turkey, I can't help but think of the buffalo and how cold their air is going to get, and even that football game.
Yeah, they actually moved Buffalo Bills versus Cleveland Browns. They moved the game to Detroit because they're supposed to have up to 6 feet of snow on Sunday. That would have been fun to watch, but the safety of the people going to the game would be important. They're going to have a lot of accidents if they tried to do that.
Yeah, irrespective people are going, there's going to be accidents for sure. Stay safe. All right, follow us on Twitter.
And you can always like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/FSU Weather.
And if you're watching us, you probably already know you can follow us on FSU Weather on YouTube.
And you can always follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. You can send us any pictures or videos you get of anything interesting, and we will see them.
Yep, and now we're going to send over to Kaylin for the last word.
Yeah, we just want to show you that we're going to get in the 30s the next 2 days, 40s days following that. So we're looking at the next cold 4 days. But do remember that we are going to be back in the 70s come Thanksgiving, which is going to be really nice. We appreciate you guys watching. You guys have a great weekend.